Here at Chattahoochee, we're exploring the 7 mindsets this year, and we've adopted this as a study with our faculty and our students. And just listening to your story about SAFT and your journey to get there really resonated that you're living passion first. You found a passion and a way to live that in through your life. So could you just tell us a little bit about where you started and your vision and how you got there?
Sure. I actually, this thought just popped in my mind. When I was in college, I remember my mom, I came home for a weekend and I was talking to my mom. I was so excited to be home, and my mom looked at me and said, "When did you get to be so selfish?" And she said, "What are you going to do? You know, these things you're worrying about are not even worth what's going on in real life." And that one statement really hit me. And so it was really probably at that point I started to really think and dig down. What do I really care about? What do I want to do? So I studied sociology, psychology in college, and then I went to work for a counseling agency, doing supervised visitation in the community in the rural North Georgia areas. And I would go and pick up the kids in their foster homes and take them to their supervised visits. And really, I was not pleased when I saw the foster homes that were provided for these children that were at risk. And so I came home and I told my husband, um, I need to quit my job. This is not what I'm supposed to do. I really think that we should be a foster home. And he thought I was so crazy. But I think we even got into an argument or something because I said, "You don't understand. You know, I've seen this for myself, and I have to do something about it." And so, I mean, had been married for a year. We didn't have our own children, but I really wanted to do it before we had our own kids because I wanted to give them everything. So I somehow convinced him to go and learn more and become a foster home. And we took in, I think we fostered around 11 kids total from the age of 0 to 16. We had a 15-year-old that came in and she turned 16 a couple weeks later. But there was one child in particular that I really felt like the system had kind of failed him. I felt like we didn't know any other foster families. We really felt segregated on an island. We didn't have a lot of support. It was challenging, and so we were going to give up, actually, just stop. But they called us a couple weeks later and asked us to take in these 2 girls. And so we agreed, took in the 2 girls, and they had 2 little brothers that were in a different home. And so those little girls' story really changed our life. And just through painful experiences that they went through and that we went through fostering was what birthed SAFT. And SAFT was really just supposed to be a foster and adoptive supportive network, because I told you I didn't feel supported as a foster home, and I really wanted people that were doing this to get together and to share and to help each other. But we realized that supervised visitation was an issue after SAFT had formed, and we were asked to start a center, to open a center. And so that's a little bit about how we got started. And the visitation center is just in honor of that sibling group of 4. But we ended up adopting the oldest child, and we still have her. She's 14 today.
Oh, so tell us a little bit. So you have a visitation center here in Forsyth County that that the birth parents can come and visit with their children
Yes.
in a transition period or just in that foster care, during that foster care experience.
Right. So I was working a full-time job after we had launched SAFT. My husband was building his career, was very successful, and I told him we were taking in children in foster care, and I really wanted to spend more time with them and help them. There's so much that has to be done when you take a child into care. So we were lucky enough where he was able to let me quit my job, and I was just able to build out SAFT and to be able to pour into these kids. So that's how I progressed from my career, making money and just, living the dream, to going into my passion, I guess you would say. And the visitation center is there first to protect children, first and foremost, so that we ensure that no abuse, verbal, physical, sexual, is occurring. Also, we're trying to rebuild those families. So we are providing every resource imaginable so it's abundantly clear to the decision makers, the juvenile court, the Department of Family and Children's Services, of what does it really look like in this family and what is best for that child long term, because we don't want kids lingering in foster care, and we want them to have the best chance to be reunified with their parents if it's safe. And kids coming into foster care, they're not looking for a new family. They want their family, no matter what has been done to them, no matter how bad their home life is. They still have this bond to their family, and they want their family. They just want them healthier. So we are trying to give that to the kids. We feel like that's the best gift that we can give them. It's great to provide support to them around the holidays or in different parts of the year, but if we can give them a healthier family, we can break those generational cycles and issues. That's really what we're trying to do for the children by working with their parents. So we're rebuilding them while providing support and empowerment to the temporary caregivers.
That's phenomenal. So I heard you earlier today talk about the role that the school system and teachers have in this system of foster care and particularly in your daughter's life, and how important our role is. And you said something that really resonated with me. You said, we don't always know that as a teacher. We don't know that step that we're going to take or that call that we're going to make that's going to be, life-changing. Could you share just a little bit about
What
that?
happened?
Yeah, what happened?
My experience. Okay, so can I say the teacher's name?
Sure.
Okay.
Yes, please.
Okay, so the two little girls that I was telling you about, they attended Coal Mountain. We technically lived in Alpharetta, but we were on the Forsyth County line, so we were not as aware of coming as we are now that we live here. But so exit 11, 12 to past 17, which is not an exit, but I guess they're getting one soon. Coal Mountain was the school that my daughter was going to, who was in foster care at that time, and she came into foster care because one of the teachers, who's actually a teacher here at this school, I learned by knowing that I was coming to be a principal for a day. So Miss Phobes, she was second grade teacher, and she knew something wasn't right, and she reported, I think, to the school social worker, however she did at that time, and the children were taken into foster care. And so at that time, I think she probably just assumed that the kids' needs weren't being met, which they weren't. But by her being a voice for those kids and being able to get them into a safe place, we were able to determine after several months that those kids were actually being sexually abused in their home by all of their family members, and also on their supervised visitation, not at our center. Our center did not exist at this time, but in the community. So these kids have been removed from sexual abuse. No one knew that. They just thought they didn't have power or they didn't have food.
Right.
And then they came into foster care. They're supposed to be safe, but they're going on visitation, and they're still continuously being abused. No one knows. And so we were able to discover that just by the fact that someone was a voice for them, like Miss Phobes, and I'm sure she has no idea the impact that she's made on my daughter's life, but her life has been completely altered. I mean, she is going to go to college. She's in high school now. She's so smart. She was on an 8th grade reading level in 2nd grade, and she has continued that. But, that teacher being a voice really changed the direction of her life, and she was able to see that not everyone is bad, not everyone will hurt me, and that she is safe, and that maybe the most important thing, she's not going to repeat that cycle with her children, and that we were able to be a family to her. So the significance is great of what she did for her. I mean, she saved her life. Honestly, she saved her life, and I don't know where we would be without that teacher, Miss Phobes. So
That's amazing. I mean, that's just an amazing story. It's amazing. It's such an inspiring story for anyone who can hear that, but for our teachers just to know, what we do. It's so important what we do with the reading and writing and our math skills and all of those things. But I mean, what you're talking about is truly life altering, life changing.
Right.
And, you know, and it started with a feeling from a teacher who said, you know, something's not right.
So I do it every day for the kids that are struggling, for the families that maybe the parents went through the same thing that they're putting their kids through. They just don't know a different way. And we've had some amazing success stories. I mean, truly, we have had a stronger reunification rate now than we ever have before. I think because of the programming and because all of us that are working to benefit the families are doing it with passion and love for those kids. It's really everything we're doing is for them. So,
Well, the other thing that I absolutely love about your story is that now you have created, you've created this large accomplishment that is touching, you know, life after life after life. You know, what you've accomplished is huge, but it started with just a thought. It started with just, you know, your mom saying to you, hey, what are you really thinking about?
right.
You didn't sit at home and dream up, and someday I'm going to do this, and I'm going to have
Right.
this, and it's going to be this, and it's going to be this network and this place, and we're going to build this, or it wasn't as grand as that.
Yeah, it came out of a lot of pain too. But yeah, you're absolutely right. And I just thought about this, that when I was doing supervised visitation, I thought that was not what I was supposed to do. But however, we've come full circle. I mean, you just kind of made me think about that we came full circle and we were able to not only be a good foster home, but out of something painful that happened, create something through that pain that can help so many and protect so many other kids. That's an interesting thought that you just shared.
Wow.
Made me think just how full circle we came.
Well, I love the full circle because that's our other. We're all connected.
Yeah.
You know, so we came all the way back to the people that you began with, and it's a one person, and then it's exponential from there. And today, thanks for sharing your story with us. It's so inspiring, and I love the fact that we work in a building with Dottie, and you have such a great story about her and how it intersects your life. So thanks for being here.
Yeah, thanks for having me. It's an honor.
Sure.